Now in polity, we started with the important legislations that were there in news, and I also informed you that you need not to sweat too much on bills, etc., because multiple reasons are there. First of all, as they are the bills, they have not been passed, so there might be some amendments, changes that might come. So for that, UPSC doesn't ask them that much. Also, hundreds of bills are there. Fine, it's not possible for you to track all of them. So major legislations, fine, we need to see. We have discussed about we have discussed about the 106th Constitutional Amendment Act, related things. Then the CEC Act of 2023 we have discussed. Then Criminal Law Reform Act, three bills that were passed, we have discussed them. Then we discussed about the GNCTD Amendment Act 2023. Then after that, we discussed about the DPDP Act 2023, important features in related issues. We have discussed data localization, we discussed. Then Mediation Act, we discussed different types of mediations, negotiations, arbitration, conciliation, all that we have discussed. Okay. Then Model Prisons Act 2023 that we discussed, which aims to reform the prison system in India. We have discussed that prison is a state subject, so therefore central government, they can come out just with a model law, which will recommend the states that what type of changes they should bring. So therefore, this model prison act was there, and we have also discussed that what is the difference between parole, furlough, all these things we discussed. Then multi-state cooperative societies amendment act we discussed. Then moving on, we have discussed about the cinematography amendment act. Then a telecommunication act we have discussed. After that, we came to the Lokpal, basically constitutional issues and related themes. We have discussed about the Lokpal. We have discussed about delimitation, and here I can see there's a question also. Reservation of seats reallocate after delimitation mean number of seats. Sonu, doubt is not clear. Can you brief little bit about it? Can you just unmute your mic, unmute yourself, and can you just ask that what you are trying to ask? Fine. As of now, when we talk about reservation, fine. So women reservation, it's not implemented. SC/ST it's there, but women reservation, it's not implemented. Why it's not implemented? Because it will be implemented after delimitation and census that will be conducted. Right now, the seats are reserved for SC and ST. Okay. So basically, the seats that are to be reserved. Now understand this thing that after delimitation, what will happen after delimitation? What will happen? The number of seats, it will change. So proportionally, the reserved seats for SC and ST, it will also change. So after delimitation, SC/ST reserved seats, they also are reconfigured. Is reservation under SC/ST reservation or excluding? Is reservation only for SC/ST women? Right now, only for SC/ST women, it will be implemented after census and that delimitation. After delimitation, it is reconfigured. Why? Because the number of seats, they gets changed. Sonu, your doubt is clear now. As far as I can understand your question, I have answered it on the basis of that. If still there is any question, you can ask. Okay. Then after that, we discuss about the ED related things. Fine. Then CCI we have discussed. Then basic structure doctrine, 50 years. Then Article 370, personality rights we discussed. Then we discussed about the right to silence, right to walk, hate speech and related developments we have discussed. Then Kui language, which there are the demands to add Kui language in 8th schedule. So Kui language we discussed about it. Reservation for local in private sector. So Haryana and Punjab High Court has given ruling in this particular direction. We have seen that. Now, then we discuss about the quota for backward classes in ULBs. So whether the state government is empowered to reserve the quota for OBCs in ULBs, yes, fine. We have here Article 243T, but before giving it actually on the ground, there are certain conditions that have to be met. And in this capacity, we have discussed that the K. Krishnamurthy judgment and Vikas Gawali judgment triple test that they have given. Okay, fine. So this is all about till this point of a time. Fine. Any questions, any doubt? If you have, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll be moving forward with this Rangnath Mishra Commission that was in news. Okay. Rangnath Mishra Commission. Rangnath Mishra Commission. Now, basically, guys, what this Rangnath Mishra Commission pertains to? So, Rangnath Mishra Commission actually pertains to SC reservation for Dalit converts. SC reservation for Dalit converts. Now, let's understand this particular thing, that what it is all about. SC reservation for Dalit converts. Now, when we talk about the understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the scheduled caste, who are scheduled caste people? So, Constitution Order of 1950. Constitution Order of 1950 provides that scheduled castes are the people faced who have faced deprivations and discriminations on the basis of their social status, and these people or these castes, they belong to Hinduism. They belong to Hinduism. And Constitution Order of 1950 also has provided reservation for the scheduled caste people. So scheduled caste people faced discrimination, historical injustices, and from which religion they belong? They belong to Hinduism. They belong to Hinduism, and reservation has been provided for them. Now, guys, what has happened over the years? People who were Dalit, they have changed to other religion. For example, they have converted to Sikhism, they have converted to Buddhism, they have converted to Christianity, Islam. So there is this one question that comes, that after conversion, suppose there was a Dalit person who converted to some religion, some different religion. After conversion, whether that person will continue to get that SC status or not. This is one issue that's there. Now, understand this particular thing, that actually what has happened, 1956, one change came. And in 1956, it was provided that Dalits who have converted to Sikhism, even after the conversion, they'll continue to get SC status. So it was provided for them in 1956. Then what happened in 1990? There was one more change that came, and it was provided that Dalits who converted to Buddhism, post conversion to Buddhism, they'll continue to get their SC status. So originally, SC status was envisaged only for Hindus who were Dalit. But over the periods, it has been extended to now even Dalits who converted to Sikhism, Dalits who converted to Buddhism. It has been expanded now. This is the present situation. Meanwhile, there is one issue that has developed, and this issue is like this, that actually what about Dalit who converted to Islam and Christianity? What about those Dalits who have converted to Islam and Christianity? Will they continue to get the SC status? What about these people? So basically, here multiple committees have been established from time to time. Okay, and one of them, Rangnath Mishra Commission. Rangnath Mishra Commission is there. Now, Rangnath Mishra Commission, it is also called as the National Commission for Religious and Linguistic Minorities. And this particular commission provided its report in 2007, and it recommended that Dalits who have converted to Christianity or Islam, even after their conversion, they should continue to get the SC status. So they recommended disconnecting scheduled caste status from religion. They said that why you recognize that scheduled caste people, why you say that only in order to get recognized as scheduled caste, you have to be from Hinduism, disconnected from religion. It has recommended. Also, it has proposed allowing Dalits who converted to Islam and Christianity to access the scheduled caste status. Now, recently, this Raghunath Mishra Commission report was in news. Why? Because government has to present its case in Supreme Court with respect to what steps they have taken to give SC status to Dalits who converted to Sikhism and Christianity. What they have done, sorry, I said Sikhism, my apologies, Christianity and Islam, what they have done. Now, government, what it did, meanwhile, it constituted one more commission. You can write it on the side margins also if you want. KG Balakrishnan Commission. KG Balakrishnan Commission. And government had said that we will again study this particular matter. And this KG Balakrishnan Commission has been given the time till the end of around September, October of 2024, it will give its report. So as of now, SC status is not given to Dalits who have converted to Christianity and Islam. Government has constituted this commission. So therefore, Rangnath Mishra Commission has come in news. Okay, so this is something that has happened. So I hope that you have understood it. Yes, guys, is this thing clear? Women reservation on local basis. Yes, dear, what you want to ask about this? Okay, at local level, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act already has provided 1/3 reservation to women in PRI and ULB. That's already there. Okay, so in PRI and ULB, 1/3 reservation is there. In fact, certain states have increased that to 50%. Okay, so that's already there. Now, moving on. Expulsion of MPs and MLAs. So recently, one of an MP, she was expelled from Lok Sabha. And therefore, this particular topic of expulsion of MPs, it has come in the news. So let's understand about this. So basically, one of an MP from Lok Sabha was expelled. There was one case that she has taken some money to ask a particular type of questions in parliament. And she has even also shared her login credentials. So basically on that particular matter, she was expelled. Now, if we talk about this particular expulsion, in this expulsion was recommended by Ethics Committee of Lok Sabha. So we need to see about this Ethics Committee. So basically, Ethics Committee of Lok Sabha, it is made up of 15 members, and they are nominated by whom? They are nominated by Speaker. And they examine the complaints against some MP with respect to unethical conduct that they have involved in. Now, interestingly, nowhere it has been mentioned that what is unethical conduct. So this is one thing that you should know, because UPSC has asked about these particular things, that for example, no confidence motion, is it mentioned in the constitution or not, or something like this. So what is ethical and unethical conduct? It has not been explained fine anywhere. So this ethics committee examines the complaint with respect to the unethical conduct, and it can recommend the expulsion of an MP if it finds that some unethical thing has been done. Now, one thing that comes here is that expulsion and disqualification are two different keywords. You should know, you should understand the difference between them. Now, when we talk about disqualification, if a person becomes a disqualified, person cannot contest election. Disqualification, you cannot contest election. If you are expelled, you can again contest election and can come to the house. So disqualification prevents even the contesting the election. So in this case, we are not using the word disqualification, and even you should not use thinking that they are same. No, they are not the same word. Now, when we talk about the constitutional grounds for expulsion, can the judiciary interfere in these particular matters? So here we have Article 122. Now, Article 122 of the Constitution restricts the judicial interference in parliamentary proceedings. What parliamentary proceeding is going on, judiciary cannot interfere in that. So therefore, even in these particular matters, judiciary cannot interfere. Okay. Now, this ethics committee, it does not directly expel the person. So ethics committee, if it investigates the matter, then after investigation, it submits its report to the speaker. Speaker keeps this particular report in the front of the house. House carries a simple voting through a simple majority. House carries the voting, and through simple majority, the person who was found guilty of some unethical thing, they can be expelled. So MP found guilty, okay, they can be expelled through a simple majority in the house. And one more thing is that it is not necessary that ethics committee has to recommend that thing. First of all, actually, apart from ethics committee, privileges committee also can take up the matter for the expulsion of an MP. So one thing more you need to understand, keep in mind, ethics committee can recommend, but apart from ethics committee, privileges committee can also recommend the expulsion of an MP. And also presiding officer, presiding officer, such as in case of Rajya Sabha, we have chairman, in case of Lok Sabha, we have speaker. So presiding officer, if they want, they can also order the withdrawal of a member if they have done some disorderly thing in the house. They can ask them to leave. And in extreme cases, they can also order the expulsion of a per member if they have done some highly derogatory kind of a thing in the house. Okay, fine. This is there. Now, Rajya Sabha, fine, can also pass a motion to suspend the members. Also, Representation of People Act, it mentions about the disqualification. Disqualification. Now, here, if disqualification happens, you cannot contest the election. So disqualification can be done under RPA if a person has been given a jail of 2 years or more. The 10th schedule provides for disqualification if this defection has happened. I am confident that you might have already read about the disqualification 10th schedule in your polity. And we have Article 102 and Article 191 under that also there are certain grounds for disqualification that has been mentioned. Article 102 and 191 mentions the ground for MPs and MLAs, such as if an MP or MLA is holding an office of profit, if unsound mind. So we have set on here also the provisions of the disqualification. Okay. But one thing you need to understand is that there is a very clear difference between disqualification and expulsion. Now, with respect to the disqualification and expulsion, Article 102's detailed provisions I have mentioned here, that if you are holding office of profit, a person can be disqualified, unsound mind, in discharge, insolvent. Fine. 10th schedule also we have discussed. Then here we have certain of our judgments on the disqualification. Moving to the next one, that is Secretariat of Parliament. So recently Parliament celebrated its 75th anniversary. And on the 75th anniversary of Parliament, Secretariat of Parliament, on that there were many articles that came. Now, when we talk about Secretariat of Parliament, it is simply the backbone of Parliament. Whatever work, whatever the functions Parliament is performing, that is all becomes possible because of the Secretariat of Parliament that's there. Now, when we talk about the Secretariat, it is the back office of Parliament, which assists the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in their documentation, basic work, filing, all these things. Article 98 provides that each house of Parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they must have its secretariat and the secretarial staff, which will assist them in functioning. And Article 187 provides for the secretariat for the state legislature. So these are the constitutional provisions, Article 98 and Article 187 providing for the secretariat. Then after that, when we talk about Secretariat of Parliament, we have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Now, head of Secretariat in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will be their presiding officers respectively. Main Secretariat of Lok Sabha will be headed by Speaker. Secretariat of Rajya Sabha will be headed by Chairman. But they are symbolic heads. They are the symbolic heads. Okay. So basically, they are the symbolic heads, and the one who actually manages the secretariat, find the real head, is the Secretary General. Secretary General of Lok Sabha, Secretary General of Rajya Sabha. So basically, Speaker and Chairman, they so here Lok Sabha Secretariat, who heads it? I told you Speaker of Lok Sabha, but administrative head who actually performs the functions with respect to Secretariat, he is the Secretary General. So Secretary General is administrative head, and ceremonial head is Speaker in case of Lok Sabha, Chairman in case of Rajya Sabha, but administrative head is the Secretary General. Now, when we talk about post in this Secretariat, Speaker and Chairman, they have power to create a post within the Secretariat. But if they are creating class 1 and class 2 post, they need approval from the Ministry of Finance. So they can create. So what it means? It means that they can create the post till the class 3, fine, without anyone's approval. Class 1 and class 2 post, if they have to create, they have to take approval from Ministry of Finance, and after that they can create it. Okay. So Lok Sabha Secretariat, Rajya Sabha Secretariat, headed by Speaker, headed by Chairman. Administrative head in both cases is the Secretary General. And further detailed provisions are provided in Secretariat Rules 1955 for Lok Sabha and Secretariat Rules 1957 for the case of Rajya Sabha. So this is something that you need to know. Beyond that, no need to go more deeper, because if a question will come, question will touch these particular time frame areas if it will be there. The next, democratic decentralization. So basically, guys, you already knowing this, you might be knowing this thing, that 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay. Basically, in 2023, so when we talk about the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, actually they came in implementation in 1993. They came in implementation, their actual implementation happened in 1993, and therefore 2023, marks a 30-year anniversary of the implementation of 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay. So there were some articles that have come on the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, and I will advise you one particular thing that you should go in more detail in with respect to the ULBs and Panchayati Raj institution, and please refer to your class notes for this particular chapter because this year it is highly important. In fact, if you see previous last mains paper that happened, there was a question also on the democratic decentralization also. Okay, there is again a possibility that a question might be asked because UPSC is in a habit of repeating the question also. In the past, we have seen this particular thing. In the past, we have seen this particular thing. So, 73rd Amendment Act, it constitutionalized the Panchayati Raj institutions and added a new part, that is part 9 in the constitution, which had the articles 243 to 243O. Okay. Now, it dealt with the provisions of Panchayati Raj institution. Also, 11th schedule was added to the constitution, which contains 29 items that are to be devolved to the panchayats for their panchayat will function on these 29 items. They were devolved. Then 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, it constitutionalized the urban local bodies and it added part 9A to the constitution and it has provisions after 243O, that is 243P to 243ZG. And it also added one more schedule, that is the Schedule 12, which had 18 functional items that is to be devolved, that should be devolved to the municipalities. Okay. Here we have certain committees which led to the establishment of Panchayati Raj institution. Now, deliberately, I have not given here in much detail because already you might have read about these particular committees in your polity also when you might have been reading about this particular chapter. So here just I have given the names. One thing I will advise that please go a little bit in more detail about this chapter in your polity notes because 30-year anniversary. So when such 25-year, 30-year, 50-year anniversary kind of things happen, UPSC asks the question. Now, here, this is the current affairs part. So there are some initiatives with respect to the strengthening of the local institutions that have been there in the news in different articles and editorials. So let's discuss about the Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. Now, what is this Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan? So this particular program intends to enhance the capacity of Panchayati Raj institutions. So it will provide case studies, it will provide technical know-how, it will provide assistance to Panchayati Raj institutions so that they can emerge as genuine institutions of democratic decentralization in India. So what it will do, it will strengthen the capacity of Panchayati Raj institution. They will be provided technical support. They will be provided the other basically knowledge out, basically case studies will be provided to them. Then next is E-Gram Swaraj. E-Gram Swaraj. Now, what is E-Gram Swaraj? E-Gram Swaraj is a online platform which will assist the panchayats in case of planning, accounting, monitoring. So basically, when we talk about panchayat, under a panchayat, multiple things are going on. For example, people are working under MG Narega, their wages is to be given to them. Then there is some community center that is being constructed in village. Then let's say there is some work going on in the Anganwadi center. Okay. So there are so many works that are going on at panchayat level. So to monitor these activities for effective accounting, okay, which worker has worked for how many days, find how many wages, whether the wages have been credited to a person or not. Find all these accounting work, okay, monitoring work, developmental activities of Gram Panchayat, they are monitored through this E-Gram Swaraj portal. E-Gram Swaraj portal. Then People's Plan campaign. People's Plan campaign. So what is People's Plan campaign? So basically what it does, it helps in drawing up the Gram Panchayat development plan. Gram Panchayat development plan. Now, when we talk about the Gram Panchayats, so you might be knowing this particular thing that Gram Sabhas are conducted. Now, Gram Sabhas will approve, Gram Sabhas will deliberate that what type of activities are to be done by the Panchayat or not. So, People's Plan campaign, it is an initiative where more and more people participation is brought in drawing up the developmental plans of Panchayat. Then backward region grant fund. Now, this is a dedicated fund that is the grant that was given to the panchayat in the backward regions so that they can carry on the development. Then there is National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj. So what it does, it builds the capacity of the gram, basically functionaries, elected representatives. Okay, so panchayat secretaries that are there, okay, sarpanches are there, panchayat members are there. So their capacity building will be done. Okay, National Panchayat Award, National Panchayat Award. So National Panchayat Award, what they do, they recognize the best performing panchayat based on the multiple criterias, implementation of government schemes, rolling out of MG Narega, cleanliness, multiple factors are there. On that basis, panchayats are given awards. And then Swamitwa scheme. So what is Swamitwa scheme? So I told you earlier also about the Swamitwa scheme, that under this particular scheme, property cards will be issued to village households and property owners. Digitization of land parcels will be done. Drones will be used here. Drones will be used here. Okay. Then there was one more development with respect to the Panchayati Raj institution. So RBI, they released a report on finances of Panchayati Raj institution. Finances of Panchayati Raj institution. Now, first of all, when we talk about the Panchayati Raj institutions or the local institution, biggest problem that these institutions are having is the problem of 3F. Problem of 3F. What does this 3F includes? Fund, functions, and functionaries. Fund, functions, and functionaries. Okay. Fund, functions, and functionaries. These are the three problems that the panchayats have. Fund, see, many of the panchayats, what's the problem? Problem is that they don't have adequate funding. They don't have adequate money. They don't have adequate money to work on many of the developmental things. Okay. Then after that, next is functions. Next is functions. Next is functions. So when we talk about the functions, so point is that powers have not been devolved adequately. Powers have not been devolved adequately to the panchayats. And then there is the problem of functionaries. Functionaries. Adequate human resource officials are not given to the panchayats. So this report has talked about the fund problem from the panchayats. Now basically it has talked about it has given the detailed breakup as how many crore rupees were transferred from which source that came. That technicals is not important for the examination. But here you need to know about the major sources. You need to know about the major sources of funding for the panchayat. Major sources of funding for the panchayat. Just a minute. Fine. So there is Article 243H, Article 243I, Article 280, which largely deals with respect to the funding for panchayats, which largely deals with the funding for panchayat. Now, first Article 243H. Article 243H. Now, what Article 243H provides? Article 243H provides for the state legislature to direct grant in aids to the Panchayati Raj institutions. Now, grants are those money which are not to be returned. So, for multiple reasons, for the implementation of multiple schemes, state government can give grants to the panchayat. Also, Article 243H enables the panchayats to impose, collect, allocate taxes, duties, tolls. The next we have is Article 243I. Article 243I. Now, what Article 243I talks about? Article 243I talks about the establishment of State Finance Commission. Establishment of State Finance Commission. So basically, State Finance Commissions have to be established, which will recommend how to enhance the funding for the panchayats. How to enhance the funding for the panchayats. Then next we have is Article 280. Article 280. Now, what Article 280 talks about? Article 280 talks about the Finance Commission's constitution at the center. Now, Finance Commission at the center can also recommend. Finance Commission at the center can also recommend that how the funding for the panchayats is to be enhanced. Fine. Then major sources of panchayats are tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Tax revenue includes the taxes such as the service tax, property tax. Non-tax revenues includes certain fees, etc., that they can charge. Then, when we talk about the major type of grants, so largely grants that are given to panchayats can be tied, untied, performance-based, and special category grants. Now, tied grants are those grants which are given to panchayat, but they are restricted. They have certain restrictions. Now, understand this particular thing? That when we talk about tied grants, the money that is given to them under the tied grants, fine, they cannot use that particular money for other purpose apart from what they are given to them. Okay, when they are given the money, for example, if money is given for, if let's say 100 crore rupees are given, then a purpose will be specified that this 100 crore rupees you can spend only for education or only for health or only for this or only for that. Untied grant, now these are flexible grants. Money given under untied grants can be used anywhere. Then there are performance-based grants. Now, performance-based grants are contingent grant. These grants will be made available if certain targets are achieved by panchayat. For example, ODF plus status, ODF status. There can be a mechanism that if panchayat achieves the ODF status or ODF plus status, you will get this particular funding. So multiple schemes, multiple parameters are there, performance parameters are there. If they achieve those performance parameters, these particular grants are released to them. Okay, then there are the special category grants. So special category grants are reserved for a special category panchayat. For example, some panchayats are the ones, some states are the ones which are affected with the left-wing extremism. Some panchayats are on the borders. Okay, so these are the special category grants that are made available to the panchayats which are located in a particular kind of a geography or in a particular kind of condition. Fine. Okay. Then center and state governments give funding for specific schemes implementation also. Find that for example, MG Narega, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Then there are the World Bank and other developmental institutions that also give grants to the central government. So, grants that give grants to the Panchayati Raj institution. So basically, these are the different ways. These are the different ways as how the panchayats are getting their funding. Right? These are the different ways as how panchayats are getting their funding. I hope, guys, that it is clear. Then there is one more article. With respect to the Parliament security breach that happened. Now, one thing, guys, that I'll not recommend you to go too much in detail in this particular article, but as it was a update that as it was an important development that happened, I have provided you here. So basically, there was a security breach. Now, what is there? There are the different rules from the conduct rules that are there, which regulates the powers with respect to the withdrawal of unruly people from parliament. Fine. For example, is a rule 386. Now, rule 386 from the rules of procedure in the Lok Sabha, what it does, it governs the admission, withdrawal, and removal of visitor. Rule 387 is there, it grants powers to the speaker, and the speaker can withdraw any visitor from the house if that visitor is not behaving as per the parliamentary manners. Rule 387A is there, which allows secretariat officers to remove any person from the house. Fine. So these are some of the rules. Okay. So just keep in mind that 386, 387, 387A, these are theirs, which give power to the speaker, to the secretariat officers, that they can remove the people from the house if they do. Now, how the process of visiting the house, the process of visiting the parliament is that members can apply for visitors card. Now, MPs, if you wish to visit parliament, an MP has to approve the request. A member can apply for the visitor cards, and a member should certify that they know the people who are visiting it. Okay. Then next is Sarpanch Pati. So recently, what happened? Standing Committee on Rural Development and Panchayati Raj it recommended that it recommended that women who have been elected as the panchayat members, their capacity building should be done so that they don't fall for sarpanch patism. Now, what is this sarpanch patism? So this sarpanch pati phenomena has become very much concerning. That actually what is happening, women are getting elected as the panchayat members, but on their behalf, their husband or their father-in-law or their brother-in-law, they are actually acting as the sarpanch or something, sarpanch or panchayat member. So though women are getting elected as sarpanch, but their husbands are acting on their behalf. So husbands act as proxies for elected women, and they are the ones who are actually wielding the decision-making power. Fine. So women reservation in Panchayati Raj institution. So already I have told you that women have been provided the reserved seats by the virtue of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. So one-third of the seats in the Panchayati Raj institution and one-third of the seats in the office of chairperson at PRI are kept aside for the women. Certain states have enhanced this quota from 33% to 50% also. Bihar, Kerala, Maharashtra, Odisha, Rajasthan, and some other states are also there. But at the end of the day, we find that actually they are the husbands, men, who are building authority. The next is interstate water disputes. Interstate water disputes. Now, so recently what happened? In the context of interstate water dispute, so terms of reference for Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal were finalized. Terms for the Krishna Water Dispute Tribunal was finalized. Now, when we talk about Krishna Water Dispute, so Krishna Water Dispute is largely between four states: Maharashtra, Karnataka, Karnataka, Telangana, and Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So Krishna Water Disputes is largely in these four states. So basically, with respect to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, there is one dispute. Fine. But now, and the terms of reference were finalized. And there were other developments also with respect to the interstate water disputes. Supreme Court has criticized Punjab's slow progress on SYL canal, that is a Satluj Yamuna link canal. Now, this canal was to be constructed to divert water from Yamuna, from Satluj River to the Yamuna River, and a canal was to be constructed, but Punjab has not constructed that canal till now. So for that, it was criticized. Now, when we talk about the interstate water disputes, so basically, understand this particular thing that you guys just remember that. So basically, when we talk about the interstate water disputes, so basically, state list, find a state list entry 17. It talks about the water related matters subject to entry 56 of list 1. Now, see, when we talk about water, in terms of water, state has the power, but at the same time, if there is an interstate water, interstate river that is being shared between two or more states, in that matter, the power will be with the union government, subject to entry 56. Now, also we have a detailed provision with respect to interstate river water disputes. Article 262. Article 262. Now, Article 262 provides the powers to Parliament, that Parliament can provide for a mechanism of resolving the disputes on the interstate rivers. Parliament can provide for a mechanism for solving the dispute on the interstate rivers. And by using this Article 262, what has happened? Fine, Interstate Water Disputes Act, Interstate Water Dispute Act 1956 has been established. Also, by the virtue of Article 262, Supreme Court has been restricted, that Supreme Court will not adjudicate the matters of the interstate river disputes. So what has happened? Supreme Court has been restricted, that Supreme Court will not adjudicate on the matters related to the interstate river water disputes. But one thing I just want to explain here, guys, that actually there are two of the provisions, Article 136 and Article 142, that you should always keep in your mind. First of all, Article 136. Article 136 gives the power to Supreme Court, that Supreme Court can admit any petition to itself through the SLP, special leave petition. Now, special leave petition means that Supreme Court can give permission to any party to appeal the matter to itself. Even the states, and within the states, there are the river water disputes that are there. These river water disputes can even be placed with the Supreme Court. Supreme Court can call them. Supreme Court can give them special permission by using the Article 136. So, though Article 262 disallows the judiciary, disallows the Supreme Court in intervening in these matters, but at the end of the day, if they want, they can do. Then there is one more article, that is Article 142. Now, what does Article 142 provide? Article 142 gives the power to the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court can issue any order, Supreme Court can issue any decree, any order in order to do complete justice, in order to do complete justice. So this is the mechanism. Now, when we talk about the River Boards Act, also it talks about the establishment of the river boards. Now, river boards will be responsible for collecting the information with respect to the river, water, etc. Fine. Then there is National Water Policy 2012 also, which talks about the efficient resolving efficient tackling of the water scarcity. Then on international level, we have the Helsinki rules and the Campioni rules, which talks about the river water disputes. Now, you are not really required to go in detail and read these rules, but you need to understand broadly the subject matter that they are dealing with. So Helsinki rules and Campioni rules, what they are dealing with? They are dealing with the water disputes. So Helsinki rules, it recognizes the equitable use of water by each basin state. Okay, so different basin states, the states, countries which fall in a river basin, they should recognize each other's need of water also and should resolve the disputes. Then Campioni rules are there. They talk about the inclusion of underground water also for the determining the shares over the river. Then we have here All India Judicial Service, that was in news. All India Judicial Service. So All India Judicial Service is actually, guys, it is an evergreen topic. All the time it is in news because either some committee is talking about it or some dignitary is talking about it. And now what has happened? Fine. What happened? The President of India advocated establishment of All India Judicial Service. Now, what is this idea of All India Judicial Service? So, guys, today, if we talk about the All India services, which services are All India service today? So, today we have IAS, IPS, and Indian Forest Service. Okay. We have IAS, IPS, and Indian Foreign Service. Sorry, my apologies, India Forest Service. Okay, Forest. My apologies. So IAS, IPS, and IFOS. These are the All India services. Apart from that, if any other All India service is to be created, find IAS, IPS, IFOS means Indian Forest Service. Apart from that, if any third All India service is to be created, then first of all, Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha under Article 312 has the power to create any All India service apart from these three. For that, they need to pass a resolution by the virtue of two-third majority. So by the virtue of two-third majority, they can pass a resolution and can create an All India service. Now, it is being suggested that on the lines of these All India services, All India Judicial Service should be established. All India Judicial Service should be established. What will be this All India Judicial Service? It will provide for a centralized recruitment. Centralized recruitment for the appointment of district judges. District judges. No, guys, you know this thing that right now different state government, they have their PCS judiciary examinations through which they are appointing the judiciaries. And when we specifically talk about the district judiciary, when we specifically talk about the district judiciary, in this capacity, we have Article 233. Let me show you that. Oh, yes. Here we have this Article 233. Article 233, it talks about the appointment of district judges. So what Article 233 provides with respect to appointment of district judges? So appointment for person for the posting of district judge in the state shall be made by who? Governor. So governor will be making the appointment on the position of district judge, and it will be done in consultation with the High Court exercising jurisdiction in relation to such state. So after taking the recommendation from High Court, appointment will be made by the governor. And one condition that has been provided, that a person not already in the service of union shall only be eligible to be appointed if he has been not for not less than 7 years an advocate or pleader. So a person needs to be minimum advocate for 7 years also. Now, guys, this is the bare framework of the appointment of district judiciary that has been provided, Article 233. Now, apart from that, guys, there are states, they have somewhat differentiated criteria state by state. For example, certain states, what they do, they conduct an examination. After an examination, there is an interview process, and after interview process, the people are appointed to district judiciary. Some states have slightly different procedure also. So, state by state, district judges are appointed. We don't have a uniform process, and we don't have a centralized examination to appoint the district judges. Now, AIJS, All India Judicial Service, idea is that we need to make All India Judicial Services as a separate All India service. And through that, district judges for the entire country, they will be appointed. This is the idea. I hope that idea is clear. So what the idea is all about? So AIJS, it is a proposed centralized recruitment system for appointment of judges at the level of district, additional district judges and district judges. Okay, so it aims to centralize. Now, Law Commission in 1958, 1978 has talked about the AIJS and says that it can be an effective way to tackle the vacancies that are there. Okay. Now, one more thing is that AIJS cannot include any post inferior to that of a district judge. Fine. This is also one is there. Now, 2023, right now there is no consensus on AIJS. Fine. Many number of times it has been suggested that the AIJS should be brought, but there are certain concerns. And the number one concern is that it will infringe upon the federal structure and autonomy of the states. Right now, as I've told you already, that with respect to the appointment of district judges, states, they have a big say today. But if there will be a centralized system, then it will lead to the challenges on the federalism. The next issue is there that actually, see, the biggest issue that comes here is that it might disregard local laws and customs. Okay. Now, understand this particular thing that basically a judge needs to have knowledge about the local customs, about the local laws. A district judge should be knowing about the regional language also, because they understand this thing that when the documentation is being done, when the witnesses are coming and giving their statement, they might not all be proficient in English or Hindi. Now, suppose there is AIGS that came, and a person from, let's say, Haryana or Rajasthan or Uttar Pradesh, Northern Belt, a person from there, let's say, is posted in Kerala or is posted in Tamil Nadu. Now, basically, guys, we know this particular thing that, let's say, Tamil is there. Let's say, let's take about the example of Tamil Nadu. So in Tamil Nadu, Tamil is there, but apart from Tamil, there are many other local regional languages also that are there. Many number of times, the people might give their statement in other regional local languages. A person from North might not be that proficient to understand that, might not be proficient to understand the local customs and uh, traditions, etc. So therefore, it has been said that a person from that particular region has a better understanding, and therefore they should be made the district judge. So these things are there. It can affect the morale and motivation of existing judicial officers. The next is Article 142 was in use. Even I discussed Article 142 some time back. So what Article 142 provides largely? Okay. So when we talk about Article 142, Article 142 provides that Supreme Court can issue any order, they can pass any decree in order to do the complete justice. And Article 142 is often said as the source of plenary power for Supreme Court. It is often said as a source of a plenary, by unrestricted power of Supreme Court. This is something that is said. Now, Recently, what happened? Supreme Court used Article 142 and mandated that lawyers and professionals with 10 years of experience are eligible for appointment as president and member of State Consumer Commission and District Forum. Now, this determining the eligibility to be the president and the member of State Consumer Commission, this is the work of legislature. This is the work of legislature. But Supreme Court has passed an order in this respect. Fine. Now, why? How they did it? They did it by using Article 142. No, this exact order what they have passed, that is not important. But Article 142 is the one from which the judicial activism and sometimes judicial overreach also arises. Fine. So this decision has overturned the provision of Consumer Protection Rule 2024 as it provided for 20 years and 15-year experience for the appointment. 20-year experience for appointment of president and 15-year experience for the appointment of member. But Supreme Court has relaxed it to 10 years. So now in that detail, you need not to go that much. But what is this Article 142? So it allows a discretionary power to Supreme Court to pass any decree, to pass any order, to pass any decree in order to do complete justice. Fine. In past, many such kind of orders have been issued by using Article 142. For example, ban on alcohol sale along highways, extending to state. Then there was one more order that was issued. That is, the people they have to stand if national anthem is being played before the screening of a movie. Many such things have happened. The next we have here doctrine of promissory estoppel. Doctrine of promissory estoppel. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Now, recently, doctrine of promissory estoppel was in news in the context of this Agnipath scheme that's there. Okay, so Supreme Court it dismissed petitions which challenge the Delhi High Court's decision to uphold the Agnipath scheme. Okay, basically during this you know this particular thing that Agnipath scheme, Agnipath scheme was brought for appointment of the Jawans in the armed forces. Okay, now the scheme is old one. Now there are many challenges against the scheme that has been made. And one challenge that was made against the scheme, it was based on the doctrine of promissory estoppel. Now, what is this doctrine of promissory estoppel? On whose basis the challenge was made to the Agnipath scheme? This is something that you should know. Doctrine of promissory estoppel. So basically, let's understand this doctrine of promissory estoppel in simple words. Suppose this is me and I want to sell my car. And I said that, okay, I'm willing to sell my car for 50,000 rupees. Now you came and you made an offer to me that, okay, I will buy your car. I will buy your car for 50,000 rupees. But I will buy your car after 10 days. Right now, I don't have money. After 10 days, I'll come and I'll buy your car for 50,000 rupees. Okay, I said that, okay, no issues. After 10 days, you come and you buy the car. Meanwhile, what happened? There is one more person who approached to me saying that I want to buy your car. And this person was, let's say, giving me 52,000 rupees. But I will say to this person that, no, I cannot give you the car because already I have made a promise with some other friend that I will be selling car to him. So I cannot give you the car now. I refused this particular person. Now, what happened after 10 days? After 10 days, now 10 days have passed, I called you that when you are coming to buy the car, you said that now I have dropped the plan, I'll not buy your car. Now I have dropped the plan, I'll not buy your car. Now, if now the other buyers who are willing to buy my car, they are paying me only 40,000 rupees, only 40,000 rupees. Now you see, I am incurring a loss. I am incurring a loss. Here, this person made me a promise that I will buy your car. Because this person made me a promise that he'll buy my car. I didn't sold my car to this person who was giving me 52,000 rupees, and now people are giving me only 40,000 rupees. So actually, what happened in this entire thing is that I relied on your promise. I relied on your promise. And as I relied on your promise, now you have went back on your promise. You are not fulfilling your promise. And because you are not fulfilling your promise, now I am incurring a loss. I am incurring a loss. So basically, screen is not visible clearly. Yes, dear, what's the issue in screen? Because from my side, it's perfectly clear. Yes, others, is there any issue in screen visibility? Please confirm. It's clear, clear. Dear, please then check your internet connection from your side, because maybe at your end there is some internet connection issue. That's why it's not showing you clear. Fine. Okay. So what happened? You promised me. I relied on your promise. Now you are not fulfilling your promise. And because you are not fulfilling your promise, I'm incurring a loss. I'm incurring a loss. So we have this doctrine of promissory estoppel. If I'm incurring a loss, I can file a case against you. I can file a case against you, and I can ask that you should stand on your promise. You should stand on your promise. I can take you to the court. You promised me, now you're not fulfilling your promise. I'm incurring a loss. You should stand on your promise. I can use this doctrine of promissory estoppel. Now, what is this doctrine of promissory estoppel? So now let's read it. So promissory estoppel is a concept which is rooted in contractual law. Now, this is a principle of contract laws, which governs the contracts between the parties. So it is a principle of contract law which prevents a promisor from reneging on an agreement due to lack of consideration. Okay. Fine, which prevents a promisor who made a promise to go back on the promise, to not to fulfill its promise. Okay. So it is utilized in court by a plaintiff to enforce contract execution or seek compensation. So a party can go to the court and can ask that either this party fulfill their promise, so I can go in the court asking that either you fulfill your promise, you buy my car for 50,000, or because you are not buying my car, I am incurring a loss. How much loss I'm incurring? I'm incurring 10,000 rupees loss. Because somebody else is buying my car for 40,000 rupees. So you give me that loss amount, or you buy my car. So for now, in the contractual law, this doctrine of promissory estoppel is often used. Now, what happened? Many people, they said that actually what happened, we rely now actually basically when this Agnipath scheme came, many people who were selected to join the armed forces, their selection was cancelled, saying that Agnipath scheme that has come. So these people say that we relied that we will get a job, but then it was refused to us. So they tried to utilize this doctrine of promissory estoppel. Okay. Now, Supreme Court, with respect to doctrine of promissory estoppel, has given details in the Chhaganlal Keshavlal Mehta versus Patel Narandas Haribai case. In this particular case, Supreme Court has delineated rules with respect to doctrine of promissory estoppel. The Supreme Court says that doctrine of promissory estoppel, when it can be used, when the doctrine of promissory estoppel can be utilized. So here on the board, you can see that there are certain conditions that they have outlined. Certain conditions that they have outlined. Now, what are these conditions that they have outlined? So, number one is that there should be a clear promise. There should be a clear promise. Then there should be a reasonable reliance on that promise, a plaintiff. Fine. Now, I am the plaintiff. Okay. So, there should be a reliance on that promise and there should be a loss. But in this Agnipath scheme, doctrine of promissory estoppel was not given. Why it was not given? It was not given because number one, it was said that that promissory estoppel would not apply in this particular case. Why? Because this case pertained to employment and not to contract law. Okay, this particular case of Agnipath, did not pertain to contract law. Sorry, did not pertain to, yes, it did not pertain to contract law. It pertained to public employment. In matters of public employment, you cannot seek the doctrine of promissory estoppel. In the matters of public employment, you cannot seek promissory estoppel. So this is something that happened in this particular capacity. Fine. I hope guys that you have understood it. Yes, please ask if there's any doubt. Yes, any doubt? If you have any doubt here, you may please ask your doubt. Yes. Next. Next. Nari Adalat. Nari Adalat. Now, what is now this Nari Adalat was in news? If you remember, we already discussed about the Nari Adalat also when we were discussing the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Okay, Nari Adalat we also already discussed. So, what is Nari Adalat? Nari Adalat happens to be an alternative grievance redressal mechanism which takes up the cases of harassment or petty offenses against the women when their rights have been infringed. Please repeat the last portion. Yes, dear. Can you specifically tell me that what you want me to repeat? You can just unmute your mic and can let me know. What specific promissory estoppel? In very simple words, what is promissory estoppel? Promissory estoppel can be used by a plaintiff, means the one who have faced a loss, plaintiff, one who is the one who has filed a complaint. Doctrine of promissory estoppel can be used in the matters when somebody made a promise, but that person is refusing to fulfill the promise. And because the person is refusing to fulfill the promise, fine, I am incurring a loss. Plaintiff is incurring a loss. They can seek a doctrine of promissory estoppel. Okay, they can seek a remedy on the basis of doctrine of promissory estoppel. In Agnipath scheme, it was asked, but it was not given. Supreme Court said that it can be given if it is a matter of contract, but it was a matter of public employment, not a matter of contract. Fine. Yes, dear, is it clear? Fine. Moving on. So Nari Adalat, we discussed in the Ministry of Women and Child Development also. Nari Adalat, it is Nari Adalat, what it is? It is a component under Sambal scheme. So it is a component under Sambal scheme. Sambal is under Shakti. We already discussed it. So it operates under Ministry of Women and Child Development. What it aims? It aims to bolster women's safety, security. It will act as an alternative grievance redressal mechanism where petty crimes against the women, infringement of rights of the women, if it has happened, they will be dealt. Okay, fine. Now, initially, it has been implemented in Assam and Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, we discussed it also. Narco analysis test. So recently, what happened? There was this case that was going on. So some of the wrestlers, fine, some of the wrestlers, they were protesting at Jantar Mantar, saying that they were sexually harassed and assaulted. Now, during that, they said that they are ready to undergo narco analysis test. Now, what is this narco analysis test? Okay. Now, basically, narco analysis test. This particular test, it involves administration of a drug that is sodium pentothal. Now, this sodium pentothal, it is also called as the truth serum. Now, this sodium pentothal, it is administered to a person, and after that, the person will be asked certain questions. It is believed that person will speak without inhibitions. Without inhibitions. Now, how then it will help? How then it will help? Suppose there's a person who's speaking a lie. Now, why a person speaks lie? A person speaks lie because there are certain things that are stopping him to speak the truth. So this is pretty obvious. Understand this thing that if I'll speak truth, that will happen, that will happen, that will happen, that will happen, that will come out. All these things are there which are stopping me to speak the truth. Therefore, I'll use a lie. These inhibitions are there which are restricting me to speak the truth. There are these inhibitions. Now, when a person is administered this sodium pentothal, a person will speak without inhibitions, without thinking about the repercussions. So it is believed that a person will speak truth, person will speak fact. So basically, it was provided that sodium pentothal will be administered to these wrestlers and they'll speak, and then it will come forward that whether they're speaking truth or not. Now, Supreme Court in Selvi and others versus state of Karnataka, it has ruled that these narco-analysis test, brain mapping test, polygraphy test cannot be conducted without the consent of an individual. Can they be conducted? Yes. But for that, consent of an individual is needed. Fine, because otherwise it will violate the Article 20 sub clause 3, right against self-incrimination, and Article 21. Okay. So can they be allowed? Yes. But they can only be allowed if consent of an individual is taken. Without consent, they are not allowed. Now, there is also one more, that is the polygraphy test, which is also often used, and often aspirants, they have confusion also here. Polygraphy test. Now, what does this polygraphy test includes? So basically, your body's vital physiological parameters will be tracked to see that whether you are speaking truth or not, whether you are speaking truth or lie. For example, if I ask a question from you that what is your name, you will tell that my name is XYZ, no problem with that. But if you are, if now suppose I ask a question, fine, that where you were at a particular time on a particular date. Now on that date, on that time, some crime was committed, and you were actually not. Now you were saying that okay, I was at my home, I was not at a crime scene. You are saying this thing, but this is, let's say, actually a lie. This is actually a lie. When you speak this lie, what will happen? Your heart rate will increase. Your heart rate might increase, your blood pressure might increase, your pupil might dilate. Some physiological changes will come because you're speaking lie. So it is believed that when a person speaks lie, some physiological changes comes. For example, their heartbeat, their blood pressure, etc. changes comes. And these changes are tracked by this polygraphy test to see that whether a person is speaking truth or whether a person is speaking lie. Okay. So first of all, certain general question will be asked to set a baseline. Okay. Now, what is your what is your baseline heart rate? What is your baseline BP, etc. To know that, some basic questions will be asked. For example, what is your name? What is your address? What is your father's name? Fine. And after establishing that baseline, real interrogation questions will be asked. Okay. Now, narcoanalysis test, it is not admissible as a primary evidence in the court. What does it mean? I explained about the primary and secondary evidence earlier also. Means this cannot be accepted as an evidence on whose basis crime will be proved. It can be used as a thing on whose basis some subsequent discoveries can be made rather. So information cannot be the information obtained can lead to subsequent discoveries which may be admissible. Fine. The guidelines of National Human Rights Commission is to be followed. Okay. This can only be conducted after the consent of an individual, and it should be done under the expert supervision. Now, also these narcoanalysis test, polygraphy test, sometimes there are the criticism also that these tests are not 100% true. Sometimes these particular tests have been manipulated also. So this issue is also there. Moving on. Nyaya Vikas portal. Nyaya Vikas portal was in news. Now, what is this Nyaya Vikas portal? So basically, Nyaya Vikas portal, it is an initiative spearheaded by Ministry of Law and Justice to see the execution of centrally sponsored scheme to enhance the infrastructure at the level of judiciary. Now you see this particular thing that when we talk about the judiciary, at the level of judiciary, there is a lot of, there is a dearth of infrastructure. At the level of judiciary, infrastructure is missing. There are, see, number of courtrooms are not up to the mark. Basic infrastructure is toilet, running water is not there. Many courts, they don't have video conferencing facility. Computers are not there. So judicial infrastructure in a country is not up to the mark, due to which a pendency of cases is increased. So to ensure the judicial infrastructure in country, this Nyaya Vikas, to ensure the judicial infrastructure in country, this central sponsored schemes for judicial infrastructure has been brought. Now, under this particular scheme, what will be done? Assistance will be given to the state government in union territory so that they can develop the judicial infrastructure, they can develop courtrooms, they can develop basic infrastructure and everything. Money will be given to them. Money will be given. Now, for the execution of the scheme, for to see the functioning of this particular scheme, there is this particular portal, that is a Nyaya Vikas portal, that has been developed. This portal will give the update that, okay, how much money has been given to particular states, how well they are using that particular funding, and all these things, they will be tracked. Now, under this centrally sponsored scheme, now centrally sponsored schemes means that money will be pooled by both center as well as the state. Some money will be given by center, some money will be pooled by the state. Now, so funding mechanism, northeastern and Himalayan states, they are given the funding in the 90:10 ratio, means 90% funding will be given by center, 10% by the state. UT 100% funding will be given by the central government, and the other states, the ratio is 60:40. Then the next we have here is justice clocks. Justice clocks. Now these justice clocks were in use. What is this justice clocks? So this justice clock is a kind of this signage, this board signage system. Now this particular system is being established across the court complexes of High Court, and then at the district courts also they will be established, but right now at High Court. What they do, they give the real-time information with respect to the judicial pendency of cases. How many cases are pending? How many cases are pending for 5 years or 10 years? So these justice clocks will give this particular information. Okay. Now, there are many other initiatives also with respect to enhancing the judicial efficiency that were there in news. Now, what are these initiatives? There is this e-court mission. E-court mission. Now, e-court mission aims at the digitization of court process in India, court proceedings in India. So filing, paperwork, docking of the cases. To do that in paperless format, we have this particular e-court mission. Then we have interoperable criminal justice system. Now, what is this interoperable criminal justice system? It facilitates exchange of information and data between court, police, jails. Then we have the fast and secure transmission of electronic record, faster. Now, what it is, this particular platform helps in the transmission of bail orders, release orders by court to the jail, prisons. So, software to swiftly and securely transmit court orders electronically. So, any court order, if it is to be transmitted to prison, to jail. So, actually, there was one incident also which is really sad. A person was lodged in Agra jail. Person's release was ordered by the court, but even after ordering the release, person was still in the jail for many days. And the reason that was given is that post containing the release order has not arrived. Post has not come. The order was sent through the post. So it was said that we are living in this 21st century and still these reasons, they are not acceptable. So this faster was brought by which the court orders can be transmitted securely in real time. Then there is the SUAS, Supreme Court Vidik Anuvada software. Now what it is? It will translate judgments which are written in English in the regional languages. So to enhance the accessibility, judgments will be translated. Judgments will be translated. And then there is this ESCR portal. So what it will do, it will provide the digital version of judgments from the Apex Court, Supreme Court. Then next, simultaneous elections. So basically, government constituted the committee and former president Ramnath Kovind ji. Under the former president, Mr. Ramnath Kovind, committee was constituted to suggest one nation, one election. So idea of one nation, one election is very simple, that elections for Lok Sabha, state assemblies, and even if possible, then for municipalities, panchayat should be synchronized. So basically, guys, the first election that was held, okay, first election that was held in 1950-51. That election was synchronized. Obviously, at that time, Panchayat and ULBs were not there because they were constitutionalized laterwards. That election was a simultaneous election of Panchayat and sorry, my apologies, election of Parliament and the state legislative assemblies happened simultaneously. But over the years, what happened? This synchronization, this cycle, it got broken. We saw this particular thing that the government it fell multiple number of times. Certain states they went under president rule. Okay, many number of times because of the coalition government, instability induced dissolutions happened. So today we find this particular thing that virtually every year, some or the other states are having election. Now you are not really required to see that which year which state is having election, but virtually one or the other state is having election every year. One or the other state is having election every year. So therefore, there is this idea of simultaneous election comes. That is, election of Lok Sabha and the state assembly should be there. So this was norm till 1967, but after that it got broken. Now, idea of simultaneous election was proposed by Election Commission in 1983 and by the Dinesh Goswami committee. Okay. Now, basically, when we talk about the simultaneous elections, for the conduct of simultaneous election, there will be certain changes that are needed, and the most important amendments that will be needed will be with respect to Article 83 and 172. Article 83 and Article 172. Article 83. Article 83 specifies the duration of Lok Sabha, and Article 172 specifies the duration of the state legislative assembly, which is right now at 5 years. Right now at 5 years. Now, if simultaneous election are to be brought, see, some assemblies term tenure is to be extended. Suppose, just let's take one idea. As of now, simultaneous election is not there. Suppose in 2029, we want to conduct simultaneous election. Now, there might be certain assemblies who are getting expired in 28. Some assemblies might be getting expired in 28. Some assemblies might be getting expired in 2030. So the ones who are getting expired in 28, they are to be extended for 1 year. And which are getting expired in 2030, they are to be cut short for 1 year. So in this way, certain assemblies tenure are to be cut short, certain assemblies tenure are to be extended. So therefore, there will be the changes that will be needed in Article 83 and Article 172, the most important one. Then, with respect to Article 356, also some changes will be needed. Now you know already what Article 356 deals with. It deals with the president rule. So what will happen in the case of president rule? We need to specify if the simultaneous election will come. Okay, what type of amendments will be done? That is right now not clear, but these articles at least will need certain amendment. What will be benefit? Benefit is that it will save a lot of cost. Country will not be in the election mode every year. Okay, but there are criticism. Criticism is this, that see, number one, if government in some state fell, if government at center level fell, this cycle will broken. Second problem that comes here is that basically when we talk about the elections at the level of state and the elections at the level of nation, they are fought for different issues. They are fought for different issues. But if there will be the simultaneous elections, fine, national issues, they will take precedence, they will become more important over the state issues. Okay. This is something. Moreover, some people say that actually simultaneous elections, rather than creating a problem, they are good. Why? Because they establish accountability. They establish accountability. From time to time, leaders will reach to public. Because see, every year if there's election coming, leaders will again and again reach to public, asking for their grievances, ensuring that they don't have any problem. Okay. So this thing, actually, it is said that it enhances the accountability. It enhances accountability. Right? So this is something that we have. Yes, guys. Is it clear? Any question if you have, please ask. Yes, any question if you have, please ask. Okay, moving. Electoral bonds. Electoral bond scheme. Okay, so recently what happened? Supreme Court, they invalidated electoral bond scheme. They declared as electoral bond scheme as unconstitutional. Now, guys, a lot of politicization has happened on this thing. Multiple articles have been published in the newspapers analyzing which party got how many crore rupees of funding, which companies, corporate houses donated. At all not important for your examination. Fine. At all not important for your examination. Fine. You need to know this particular thing in academic sense. You need to understand this particular thing in academic sense. So first of all, what are the electoral bonds? So in the most simple terms, electoral bonds are interest-free bearer bonds. Interest-free bearer bonds or money instruments. So a person can go to State Bank of India, can give money to State Bank of India in through electric mode or through check. Through check or through electric transfer, I can give money to State Bank of India, and State Bank of India will in return will give me a electoral bond, which is an instrument. Now, this bond I can give to my favorite political party. That political party will redeem that particular bond. That political party will redeem that bond, they'll get money. So electoral bond are the interest-free bearer bonds. Bearer bonds means that there will be no name written on these bonds. Neither it will be issued in the behalf for a particular political party. Fine. These are the bearer bonds that are there. And these bonds can be brought from authorized branch of the State Bank of India. Now, these bonds were introduced in 2017-18, and it was said that it will clean the political funding in India. Why? Because as these electoral bonds will be bought through electric transfer or check, so it is said that it will clean the electoral funding. Now, these bonds, they were to be bought in multiples of 1,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh, 1 crore. Okay. And can be acquired only through the KYC compliant accounts. There was no cap on purchase. Okay. No cap on purchase. These electoral bonds, they were open for purchase for 10 days each in January, April, July, and October. Fine. This is something that's there. But what happened? There was this issue that came that electoral bond, they were declared as invalid and unconstitutional. Why? Because it was said that it was said by the Supreme Court that in a democracy, voters should know that who is funding a political party. Voters should know who is funding a political party. That under Article 19, fine, they have right to know. They have right to know. So therefore, it was said that political parties have to declare that who are giving money to them. But these electoral bonds were anonymous. So therefore, they were declared as invalid and unconstitutional. Then here we have ENCORE. Now, what is this ENCORE? ENCORE is an in-house software developed by the Election Commission. Now, this ENCORE, guys, see, it is not available for me and you. It is available. It is for Election Commission's internal efficient functioning. So basically, when election is done, so basically there is digitization of votes polled, tabulation, how in the different rounds of election, how many votes are polled, percentage, voter turnout, many internal calculations are to be done when the votes are being polled. So for internal management of elections, this ENCORE has been launched. So this is an end-to-end application designed for whom? Returning officers. They're designed for returning officer, will help in digitization of votes and better capturing of data, sharing of data, tabulation of data. Fine. It will help in candidate management, election management. Okay. So this is all about it. Beyond that, we don't have nothing much here. Okay. So that is all, guys, about it. Fine. Okay. So till this point, if you have any doubt, please ask your doubt. Yes, any doubt, any question till this point? Yes, guys, any question, any doubt till this point, please, if you have, you may let me know. Okay, clear. Good. Fine. So, I hope you have got already handout of IR. ENCORE, repeat ENCORE in brief. What is ENCORE? ENCORE is software platform for Election Commission of India, which will help Election Commission of India in efficient management of elections. Okay, election management, candidate management, it will help them. Yes, guys. Any other question? Fine. Now, please take 2, 3 minutes of time and please go through all these things. Please go through all these things. Take 2, 3 minutes of time, and that after that we are going to start with the IR theme. After that, we are going to start with the IR theme. Please go through this. Okay, guys. So I hope that you have revised, and I think that there are no unresolved issues then. So I hope that you have revised it. Fine. So let's move on to IR part then. Now, in IR, we have divided this particular section in multiple themes. Multiple themes. We are going to take the relations. We are going to take the bodies. We are going to take places in news. So multiple things are there. Well, first, we are going to start with important institutions that were in news. Important international institutions that were in news. So first is United Nations. United Nations. No, why United Nation was in news? It's because okay, voice is clear to everyone, right? Okay. So United Nations was in news because recently India has advocated the norms reform in United Nations. Norms. So what does this particular norms stand for? Norms stand for new orientation for reformed multilateral system. New orientation for reformed multilateral system. Now understand this particular thing that India since long is advocating about the reforms in United Nations and this norms. Fine. India says that representation of global South, particularly in the UNSC, is not there. For example, when we talk about the United Nations Security Council, Africa's representation is not there. South America, Latin America's representation is not there. In Africa, you see this thing that though China is there, but India is not represented. So UNSC is to be expanded, and in general, United Nations General Assembly, which has been colonized by certain vested interest, it should be reformed. So in UN norms reforms have been suggested by India. So there can be a question on keyword that norms was in use. It is related to what? So you should keep in mind. Now, when we talk about United Nations, it was established in 1945 and UN Charter is a founding document. UN Charter is a founding document. Fine. UN Charter is a founding document. Now, when we talk about the United Nations, when we talk about the United Nations, so what are the principal organizations, what are the principal organs in the United Nations under the United Nations? We have General Assembly, General Assembly, which is the association representing all the member states. Then we have Security Council, Economic and Social Council, International Court of Justice, UN Secretariat. Trusteeship Council was also one of our principal organs, but it discontinued in 1994. So today we have these five permanent organs. One, two, three, four, five. We have today these five permanent UN organs that we have. Trusteeship Council doesn't exist today. Okay. Now, one by one, we are also going to discuss about these also. Don't worry. Now, first, United Nations Security Council we are going to discuss. United Nations Security Council we are going to discuss. Now, United Nations Security Council was in news for multiple reasons. Number one, what happened? India declared its candidature as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for 2008-29. 2028-2029. Now, first of all, guys, one particular thing is that has India earlier served at UNSC? Has India earlier served at UNSC? So basically, for this particular thing, guys, understand this thing that India has already served 8 times. India has already served for 8 times, and 28-29 is the candidature that India has filed for. Now, when we talk about United Nations Security Council, it is responsible for maintenance of international peace. It is responsible for maintenance of international peace and security. Okay, international peace and security. And in United Nations Security Council, we have two type of members, that is permanent members and non-permanent member. Now, when we talk about permanent member P5 are China, France, Russia, UK, US. And 10 non-permanent members are there, which are elected for the term of 2 years. And seats are given on geographical basis. Seats are given on geographical basis. Now, how basically the seats are decided? You can please write 5 seats are for 5 for Africa and Asian states, 5 for Africa and Asian states, one from Eastern European states, one from East Europe, One for East Europe. One for East Europe. One for East Europe. Two for Latin America. Two for Latin America. Two from Western Europe and other states. Two from Western Europe and other states. Western Europe and other states. So I hope you have written down five from Africa and Asia, one from East Europe, two from Latin America, two from Western Europe and other states. So these are the 10 non-permanent members that are chosen. Fine, guys. I hope this is clear to everyone. Now, when we talk about the permanent members, they have veto power. They have veto power. They can impose a veto on any resolution. For example, guys, what happened recently, Palestine, they applied for, recently Palestine applied for the recognition of a permanent seat under the UNGA. Palestine wanted a permanent seat in UNGA. Now, US, they use their veto power. Now, in order to be a UNGA member, fine, UNSC has also to clear it. Okay. But US, what they did, they used their veto power. And by using that particular veto power, now it has stalled that, it has stalled the proposal. Next is UNESCO. UNESCO. So UNESCO was in news because of multiple reasons. Multiple reports have been released by UNESCO. We have seen also, and some will come. And also UNESCO was in news because USA, which earlier withdrawn from UNESCO, is now willing to again join UNESCO. So US again want to join UNESCO. Now, basically, guys, that actually what is happening, US is not only joining UNESCO, but also, but also, uh, what has happened, US is also willing to pay back the pending dues to UNESCO. So $600 million of dues were there, which have not been paid. Now it is also willing to pay that. What is the reason behind that? See, there is one strategic reason behind it. See this thing that right now, actually, what's happening, there is a global AI framework that is being signed or negotiated under UNESCO. US does not want to be left out of that. So therefore, US is that much willing. Now, when we talk about UNESCO, UNESCO is headquartered in Paris, France. UNESCO is a specialized agency of UN. UNESCO is a specialized agency of UN. And what UNESCO is responsible for? Responsible for promoting cooperation in education, science, culture. Now, it has 194 member countries. Then next we have United Nations Human Rights Council. United Nations Human Rights Council. So basically what happened, United Nations Human Rights Council was in news for multiple reasons. Number one reason is that recently United Nations General Assembly, they have elected the 15 member states to the UNHRC. So members to UNHRC has been members to UNHRC has been elected. Who has elected it? Point to be noted, UN General Assembly. Also, Russia earlier withdrew from UNHRC, and now Russia said that we want to join UNHRC. That was refused. So because of that, UNHRC was reduced. Now, Human Rights Council, UNHRC, Human Rights Council, where it is headquartered in Geneva. And who created it? It was created by the UN General Assembly. And as the name is there, it's clear what its responsibilities are. Its responsibility is to ensure that human rights around the world, they are preserved. Now it has how many members? 47 members are there. India is a member, but there is one catch that you need to understand here. India is a member. Now, 47 members, these members are elected. There's a geographical representation. So different areas, they are given certain seats. So India is a member, 47 members are there. Now, one member state serves for 3 years. So there will be tenure of 3 years. After 3 years, they can serve one more tenure. Okay, and after that, they cannot be elected for a third tenure. They have to take a gap and then they can be elected. So tenure is 3 years, and the members are not eligible for immediate re-election after serving two consecutive terms. So maximum how many terms you can serve consecutively? So maximum you can serve two consecutive terms, and after that you have to take a break, and then you can again join back. You can again join back. Okay. Now, yes, one more thing was there. I told you that there is a catch. So there is GANRI, Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions. I think we discussed the GANRI also. Can anybody tell that have we discussed about the GANRI? Have we discussed about the GANRI in the institution part? Yes, Mega says yes. Fine. Okay. Yes, yes. So you're revising. So we discussed the GANRI also. We discussed that the GANRI, it gives accreditation to the National Human Rights Commissions. GANRI, it refused to give accreditation to India's National Human Rights Commission. And I told you that because it refused to give accreditation to the National Human Rights Commission of India, India will not be able to represent itself. India will not be able to represent itself at the UNHRs. Okay, I told you this particular thing earlier also. Moving on to the next one, UN peacekeeping missions. UN peacekeeping mission. Now, UN peacekeeping mission was in news. There are multiple developments that had happened here also. Write one line. First of all, why UN peacekeeping mission? Because first, India deployed largest contingent of all women peacekeepers in Abyei region. So Abyei is a disputed region located between Sudan and South Sudan. So in this Abyei region, largest all women contingent was deployed by India. This was one reason that it was in news. And also, please write, India ASEAN Initiative for Women in India ASEAN Initiative. India ASEAN Initiative for Women in UNPK operations was launched. UNPK stands for UN Peacekeeping. India ASEAN Initiative for Women in UNPK operations was launched. India ASEAN Initiative for Women in UNPK was launched. Fine. Also right. Indian Army also recently. Indian Army also recently commemorated, commemorated, commemorated. Indian Army also recently commemorated 75th International Day. 75th International Day of UN peacekeepers. Of UN peacekeepers. With the theme, with the theme, Peace begins with me. With the theme, Peace begins with me. With the theme, Peace begins with me. Now, so UN peacekeeping mission, it was started in 1948. And what is the aim of UN peacekeepers? To ensure sustainable security and peace, to build a sustainable security and peace in the countries which are affected by conflict, which are affected by some dispute. Now, one thing is that see, there are certain principles which are followed by UN peacekeeping missions. Number one, consent of parties. Consent of parties means this thing. Let's see. UNSC can send the troops even without the consent of the parties, but UN peacekeeping, if they're sending their troops, then the country where they're sending the troops that have to give the consent. Impartiality and no use of force except in self-defense. Self-defense. So three principles: consent of the parties, no use of force except in self-defense, and impartiality. What are the responsibilities? Protecting the civilians and the UN personnel, monitoring the disputed border, observing peace progress, security, all these things are there. Now, right now, guys, there are up till now more than 70 peacekeeping operations have been there. Okay, and India has participated in the largest number of peacekeeping operations. India has participated in largest number of peacekeeping operations. Also, India has sent highest number of troops in the peacekeeping operations also, peacekeeping missions also. So largest number of peacekeeping operations we have participated, largest number of troops we have contributed. UNESCAP, United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific, UNESCAP. So basically, UNESCAP was in news because UNESCAP released this report, Sustainable Finance Report. Even we discussed about this particular report briefly when we were discussing the environment. What this report provided? This report provided that there is a gap in terms of the sustainable financing. Now, UNESCAP. So UNESCAP, it was established. It was established by UN ECOSOC, UN Economic and Social Commission, UN ECOSOC. So it was established by UN ECOSOC as UN ECAFE. So earlier name of ESCAP was UN ECAFE. It stands for UN Economic Commission for Asia and Far East. UN Economic Commission for Asia and Far East. It got renamed as UNESCAP in 1974. In 1974. Now it is a regional commission of United Nations. Now see, region-wise United Nations have 5 regional commissions which focus on specific areas. Now UNESCAP, it focuses on which area? It focuses on Asia Pacific area. So likewise, 5 regional commissions are there, and out of 5, it is one. Now its headquarters in Bangkok, Thailand, and how many members it has? 53 member states, including India. How many member states? 53, and obviously member states will be from this region only, Asia Pacific region. So next is UN ECOSOC. So UN ECOSOC, we have discussed in the previous topic that UNESCAP was launched by UN ECOSOC. UN ECOSOC happens to be one of a principal organ of United Nations. So 5 principal organs that are there right now, UN ECOSOC is there. If you remember, we have discussed it. So what is the responsibility of UN ECOSOC? First of all, recently, why it was in news? Because India got elected to UN ECOSOC for 20 to 24. 20 to 24. Okay, from Asia Pacific category. Now, UN ECOSOC, its responsibility is to guide sustainable development, and to focus on social and economic issues. Now, no brainer, because name, if you'll see, Economic and Social Commission, so economic and social issues and sustainable development are the core themes that it is going to focus on. How many members? It has 54 members. And who elects the members? Members are elected by General Assembly. And the term is 3 years. Right now, India has been elected. Now, seats are allocated on geographical basis. 11 are given to Asia. Okay. And for the nations to be elected, it needs 2/3 of the majority of UN General Assembly. Fine. President term is for 1 year. Member term is for 3 years and president term is 1 year. And from where the members are elected? Member election are elected through UNGA. Elected through UNGA, United Nations General Assembly. Moving on. UNCSW. UNCSW, UN Commission on Status of Women. So recently, UNCSW was in news. Why? Because UNCSW has suspended Iran. So you might have seen in the news that there were the protests happened in Iran after morality policing of Iran. So basically, one woman, it died because of the actions of the morality police of Iran. Okay. So basically, there were the protests that Iran does not respect the women's liberty, doesn't give this freedom to the women. So because of that, UN Commission on the Status of Women has suspended Iran. At the same time, India was elected for 4-year term for 21-25. What CSW does? So, as it is the Commission for on the Status of Women, so obviously it is working on gender issues. It focuses on empowerment of women, enhances the political, social, and economic upliftment of. It focuses to enhance the social, economic, and political status of women. And the most important is that it is instrumental for implementation of Beijing Declaration. Now, already question has been asked on Beijing Declaration. By the way, question that was asked on Beijing Declaration was quite simple. They were asking that what Beijing Declaration pertains to. So it pertains to women. So it implements Beijing Declaration. So it has one representative from 45 member states who are elected by ECOSOC. Okay, so CSW, ECOSOC plays an important role. CSW ECOSOC plays an important role. UNESCAP also UNESCAP was also established by ECOSOC. So ECOSOC is an important body. Moving. FATF, Financial Action Task Force. So recently Pakistan was removed from grey list. Pakistan was removed from grey list of Financial Action Task Force, FATF. So Financial Action Task Force, it maintains grey list, blacklist. From grey list, Pakistan was removed. Now, what is this Financial Action Task Force? So Financial Action Task Force focuses on reducing the money laundering and to eradicate terrorist financing. Now, what is money laundering? Money laundering is a process of converting dirty money into clean. It is a process of converting dirty money as clean. This process is money laundering. Now, there is a difference between dirty money and black money. There's a difference between dirty money and black money. What's the difference? Now, when we talk about black money is that which has not been declared to tax authorities. Black money is that which is not declared to tax authorities. Dirty money is one which has been earned by illegal means. So black and dirty are not same. Now see, dirty money will always be black, but black money is not always dirty. Okay. Now this dirty money, it is just dirty money. It is just often there's a process to bring the dirty money back in formal economy by through certain means. So that process is called as money laundering. Okay. So this money laundering is to be prevented, and FATF issues a direction. So it aims to prevent money laundering as well as to eradicate the terrorist financing. Now, FATF, it was originally established in 1989 and original mandate was prevention of money laundering. But 9/11 attacks that happened in US, after that, its mandate was expanded to include the terrorist financing also. Now, India, in order to implement the spirit of FATF, has came out with the PMLA, that is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act also. Now, FATF, it issues certain directives to the countries that how they can reduce money laundering. Also, FATF asks the country to share the information that it is it is taking certain actions to reduce the money laundering. So status reports countries have to share. Countries have to share the data with the FATF to show that actually they are serious in controlling the money laundering. Fine. Now, FATF, its highest decision-making body is FATF plenary. It meets 3 times in a year. And FATF, it sees that FATF, what it does, it sees that member countries are following the guidelines for the prevention of money laundering or not. Now, right now, it has 38 members. 38 members. Okay. So just do a correction. It has right now 38 members. Russia was suspended. 38 members it has right now. 38 members it has. Now, India joined FATF as observer state in 2006. And right now, India is a full member of FATF. Now, other observer states under FATF is Indonesia, and organizations which have an observer status in FATF is Asian Development Bank, International Monetary Fund, International Organization of Securities Commission, and Interpol. Now, I told you that Pakistan was removed from grey list. So basically, IFATF, it maintains grey list, it maintains blacklist. What is grey list? Grey list includes the list of those countries which are safe haven for supporting terror funding and money laundering. Means these countries have not taken concrete steps. These countries have not taken concrete steps to eradicate the terror financing and money laundering. And blacklist includes non-cooperative countries. Non-cooperative countries. Now see, which openly support terror funding and money laundering. Iran, North Korea, Myanmar are the blacklist countries. Okay, moving on. G20. G20. So you know already that 2023 G meeting, G20 was hosted by India. 2023 G20 was hosted by India. Now, important takeaways from G20 we'll see in this particular article. But before going in this, first you need to see the membership of G20. Now, first of all, we have G7. Now, on G7, we have Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, and US. UK and US. Okay. We have these G7 countries. Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, and US. You include one more Russia, it becomes G8. You include one more Russia, it becomes G8. And then you include these countries, Argentina, Australia, Brazil, China, European Union, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey. It becomes G20. Okay, it becomes G20. Recently, one more has got added, African Union. We'll discuss that also. Okay, fine. Okay. Please write here African Union. That also now got added. That now also got added. Okay, fine. Is it clear or not? So you start with G7. Now G7, it includes the highly industrialized and developed countries. Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, US. You include Russia, it becomes G8. And then you include these 12, it becomes G20. G20. Fine. There is also G77. There is also G77. Now, what is G77? Fine. So G77, it includes the 77 developing countries. It includes 77 developing countries. Okay, G77 is a group of developing countries. Okay, fine. Also, guys, one more thing is there that see, there is also one more term that often comes in news. Okay, just a minute. Fine. So G77, what it is? G77 is the group of developing countries. G77 is the group of developing countries. Then also there is one more, that is L69. L69. Now, 69 doesn't have to do with the number of countries. Please write L69. It is a group of developing countries from L69. It is a group of developing countries from Africa, Latin America, Asia, Pacific, Africa, Latin America, Asia, Pacific, Caribbean region. Caribbean region. They want a comprehensive reform of, they want a comprehensive reform of UNSC. They want a comprehensive reform of UNSC. It consists 32. It consists 32 developing countries. It consists 32 developing countries. It consists 32 developing countries. Okay. Now, when we talk about G20, so G20, when it was founded in the aftermath of Asian crisis. Asian crisis of 1999. Asian crisis of 1999. So originally it was created as a forum where the central bank chiefs, finance ministers, they will come and they will meet to discuss the economic issues. To discuss the economic issues. So the platform for finance ministers, central bank governors to discuss economic issues. But over the years, what has happened? Over the years, what has happened? The areas that it discusses, its mandate has increased. The mandate or the range of topics that they are discussing, it has increased. And today, almost every developmental issue they are discussing. They are discussing poverty, they are discussing inequality, they are discussing climate change, they are discussing sustainable development. So my point is that when it comes to the range of topics that they are discussing today, so today almost every topic they are dealing with. Okay. India has been one of the founding member of G20, and so 2023 G20 meet was held under the leadership of India, and the theme was Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. Now, what are the important outcomes? So number one was the New Delhi Leaders Joint Declaration. New Delhi Leaders Joint Declaration. So basically, in under G20, a joint declaration has to be signed by country. But this year, getting this particular joint declaration signed was a very difficult task. Why? Because if you talk about the composition of G20, you'll find that Russia, China, and US all are there in G20. And you know right now that there are ideological conflicts going on between them, largely because of this Russia-Ukraine war that is going on. So basically, what happened, both the blocks, Western bloc, which is dominated by US and Europe, they say that Russia is responsible for war. And Russia and China, they said that no, it's US and Western Europe that is available for that is responsible for the war. So because of this particular thing, signing a joint declaration was difficult. India proposed some very intelligent references. India said that terrorism is concern. India did not name any one country which is responsible for the war. India said that the war is wrong. But India did not name any specific country for the war, did not impose responsibility for war in one country. Then Global Biofuel Alliance was launched. Now, Global Biofuel Alliance we have already discussed. So this Global Biofuel Alliance, it was launched by India. And they are the Singapore, Bangladesh, Italy, US, Brazil, Argentina, Mauritius, UAE. Who are the leading? Who are the ones who have played the major founding role? It's India, US, and Brazil. Fine. Now, it includes now see it also includes the G20 member countries. And when we talk about the G20 member countries, so basically guys, since its formation, some other countries have also joined. Now in G20, who we have Argentina, Brazil, US, India, Italy, South Africa, plus right here Canada and Japan. These are the G20 countries that have signed. Argentina, Brazil, US, India, Italy, South Africa, Canada, and Japan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 countries that have joined as of now. So this is the latest thing. Latest 8 countries have joined. The next memorandum of understanding was signed with respect to India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. Now, what is this India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor? So basically, this is being proposed as an alternative route to Red Sea and Suez Canal. Alternative route to Red Sea and Suez Canal. So I will discuss this IMEC also later word. I will also discuss this particular IMEC later word. So IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, it aims to connect, it aims to ensure, it aims to develop a ship, road, rail network between India, UAE, Saudi Arabia, fine, and then from Saudi Arabia towards to the Europe through Jordan and Israel to the Europe. Okay, so memorandum of understanding has been signed for this IMEC between India, US, Saudi Arabia, European Union, UAE, France, Germany, and Italy. Now let me show you something with respect to this IMEC. Okay, so here you can see, I just was looking for a map. Now you see here, right now, navigable route from Asia, right now, navigable route from Asia to Europe is through Suez Canal. But this IMEC will go to this particular route. Will go through this particular route. So IMEC, when we talk about it, IMEC, when we talk about it, so IMEC, what it will do, it will connect India with Arabia, with India through UAE, through Jordan and Israel, it will connect it to the Europe. So this IMEC has also been started. IMEC. So what IMEC will do? IMST will provide a cross-border ship to rail transit network between India, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, and Europe. Okay. Now it will consist of two parts, that is East Corridor and Northern Corridor. East Corridor and Northern Corridor. Now East Corridor will connect India to Arabian Gulf. Okay. So you need to see it from the Arabian Gulf. So Arabian Gulf, and from their east side, India to Arabian Gulf is Eastern Corridor, and Northern Corridor is Arabian Gulf to Europe. Fine. Then next we have, now this is a part of the PGII, that is the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. Now what is the PGII? PGI is a brainchild of America, and PGI aims to counter the Belt and Road Initiative of China. Now, you might be knowing already that when we talk about the Belt and Road Initiative of China, so China is sponsoring rapid development. China is sponsoring rapid development under this Belt and Road Initiative. Okay. Then African Union has formally been inducted in G20. Now African Union, so it has 55 African member states, and what it promotes Africa's growth and economic development. So now we know this particular thing along with the European Union. African Union has also become the member of G20. Moving on to the next one. Eastern Economic Forum. EEF, Eastern Economic Forum. It was in use. Eastern Economic Forum. Now, recently what happened? Russia hosted Eastern Economic Forum's meet. Russia hosted the meet of Eastern Economic Forum, and Prime Minister, Prime Minister has attended this particular meet virtually. Now, first of all, what particular uh, what this particular meet aims to? Now, this particular meet aims to mobilize investment in eastern part of Russia. Eastern part of Russia. Now, guys, when we talk about the eastern part of Russia, there is a developmental deficit in eastern part of Russia. So basically, what happens? Russia hosts this particular meet, and the countries are invited here, and they are showcased with the investment opportunities into the far east part of Russia, far east part of Russia. Fine. So it was established in 2015, and it encouraged foreign investment in Russia's far east part. Far east part. So it displays economic potential, suitable business opportunities, investment opportunities that are there. Now, who are the member countries that who are the active partners that we have here? So China, South Korea, Japan, India are the key players, and one of the large investor here is China. China is the biggest investor. Then BRICS was there. So basically, again, what happened recently? BRICS summit was held. 15th BRICS summit was held. Where it was held? It was held in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, this particular 15th BRICS summit was important because of the fact that what happened? Rapid expansion of BRICS has happened in this particular year. Rapid expansion of BRICS has happened. By the way, Argentina was also invited to join BRICS, but Argentina has rejected the call to join the BRICS. Argentina rejected the call to join the BRICS. Fine. So when we talk about BRICS, so BRICS idea was conceptualized in a Goldman Sachs paper where it was said that Brazil, Russia, India, and China happen to be they will be the four fastest growing economies. And BRICS, they came together. So originally, BRICS started as a dialogue in 2006. South Africa was inducted in 2010. And after 2010, after the induction of South Africa, it formally became BRICS. It formally became BRICS. Now, we talk about the BRICS. Some important point with respect to BRICS is that it does not have a permanent secretariat. Permanent office is not there. Permanent secretariat is not there. Permanent office is not there. And the current members who we have the member? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they were the original founding members. South Africa joined later. Then Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE have now joined. Who have now joined? Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. Okay. Guys, here just one correction. Argentina was invited to join, but Argentina has rejected. Argentina right now formally is not a member. So just strike down this Argentina. Now, under the BRICS, there are some important initiatives that we have. Number one, we have is the NDB. Fine. NDB, New Development Bank. So recently, NDB, it developed its regional office in Gift City of Gujarat. Now, NDB, it is a developmental bank which provides a development related assistance, to the member to the country. Sorry. Contingency reserve arrangement, it provides a it provides a financial assistance to the countries which are facing the liquidity crisis. Then moving on. SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Okay, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now, again, SCO was also in news. Now, why SCO was in news? Because recently what has happened, there was this SCO summit that was held. And even in the SCO summit, India has hosted it for 2023. India has hosted the SCO summit for 2023. So this was India's first ever chairmanship of SCO summit. Now, when we talk about SCO, SCO was founded in 2001, and initially it was founded by Russia, China, and four countries of Central America. That is Sorry, my apologies, not Central America, Central Asia. Central Asia. My apologies. Four countries of Central Asia, that is Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. Now, easy way to remember it. Easy way to remember it is that Turkmenistan was uh, Turkmenistan was not there. So we have five countries in Central Asia. Out of these five countries of Central Asia, four are there. Turkmenistan was not there. Just by this way, you can remember it. So Russia plus China plus four countries except Turkmenistan. Now, headquarter of SCU is in Beijing, China. And current members that we have is, first of all, original China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. These are the original members. Now, two countries, that is Pakistan and India, joined in 2017. Pakistan and India joined in 2017. And recently, the last summit that was held, last summit that was held, Iran has also joined. Iran has also joined. So these are the present membership of SCU. Okay. Now, when we talk about SCU, the structure of SCU is like this: that first, there is the Council of Head of States, which is the highest decision-making body. Then after the Council of Head of States, there is a Council of Head of Government. Then there are the two permanent bodies that we have. That is, one is Secretariat and other is RATS, Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure. Now, RATS is a specialized body which aims to eradicate terrorism in Central Asian country region and the nearby surrounding areas. So it specifically aims to eradicate the terrorism. It specifically aims to eradicate the terrorism. Yes, guys, is it clear or not? Any question? Now, when we talk about the official languages, Russian and Chinese is official language, and as a 2023, as 2023, India was chairman, as India assumed the chairmanship for 2023. So the theme here becomes important one. What was the theme? Theme for 2023 was towards secure SEO. Towards secure SEO. Now, this acronym was given by the Prime Minister of India, and this secure SEO stands for security, economic, uh, it stands for security, economic development, connectivity, unity, respect for sovereignty, territorial integrity, and environmental protection. This is the meaning of secure, and it was given by Prime Minister of India. And important things that happened here is number one, New Delhi Declaration. New Delhi Declaration. So New Delhi Declaration was signed, which aimed to reduce religious intolerance, xenophobia, religious intolerance, aggressive nationalism, ethnic and racial discrimination. Varanasi was selected as a cultural capital of SCO. Varanasi, Kashi was selected as the cultural capital of SCO, and Iran, it joined as a new member. Iran joined as a new member, and now we have seen the present membership also. Then next, we have is IPEF, India Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. India Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, IPEF. Now, what is this IPF? So basically, guys, India Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, again, it is US-led initiative. Now, guys, I told you that as Belt and Road Initiative of China is there, US from time to time is coming with new initiatives to counter this Belt and Road Initiative. And China calls this particular thing as the Cold War era mentality. China says that US is trying to build alliances. So what is this Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity? So it was launched by US. Member countries right now are US, India, Australia, Brunei, Fiji, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam. Now, how to remember it? You need to see this thing that, first of all, membership is of Indo-Pacific region. So basically, Indo-Pacific region, here the membership is there largely. Is India a partner? Yes. But even in Indo-Pacific region, as it is a US-led grouping and is oriented towards China, so one thing you need to keep in mind is that China and China's allies will not be there. So number one, geography wise, Indo-Pacific region. Second, India is a partner. As it is oriented towards China, China is not will be not be a partner, and China's allies will not be a partner. But the countries which have disputes with the China, they will be the partners. They will be the partner. Now you see Philippines, okay, Thailand, Vietnam. They have a dispute. Why? On South China Sea. So these are certain ways by which you can remember the membership. Now next was NATO. NATO was in news. Now why NATO was in news? Because recently what happened? Expansion of NATO has happened. So recently Finland and Sweden, they joined NATO and become its 31st and 32nd member. So NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Now, this particular body was created, it was created in Cold War, 1949, by Washington Treaty. Objective of NATO was pretty simple. That is, we should create a military alliance which can deter the USSR, Soviet Russia. So the idea was this, that if an attack will happen on any country, then all the countries will assume as an attack on all of them and they'll come together and will protect each other. So NATO is a military alliance. Fine. So original purpose was NATO was to counter USSR. But as USSR got collapsed, NATO has still stayed. Fine. So it has 32 member countries, 30 European states are there, then US and Canada are there. Now, European Union member countries which are not the part of NATO, you need to know that Austria, Cyprus, Ireland, and Malta. Now, Cyprus and Malta, you might not have heard about. Maybe there's a possibility you might be knowing it, but Cyprus and Malta, these are two small island states that we have in Mediterranean. So, if in case you don't know. The next is IORA, Indian Ocean Rim Association. Indian Ocean Rim Association. So recently, Indian Ocean Rim Association foreign ministers meeting was held in Sri Lanka. Indian Ocean Rim Association's foreign minister meeting was held in Sri Lanka. Now, when we talk about the Indian Ocean Rim Association, so membership is the Indian Ocean Rim countries. Why they come together? They come together to strengthen regional cooperation, sustainable development. One important thing, India is a member. It has 23 members and India will take the chairmanship in 25-27. 25-27. The next we have is the Partners in Blue Pacific. Partners in Blue Pacific. Now, I told this thing earlier also that these groupings are created by US and the objective is one, countering China. Now, this again is a US-led organization, but this is an informal association. Informal association means that it will not have a preamble. It will not have a specific secretariat. It will not have a specific charter. So, Partner in Blue Pacific, it is an informal association of 5 countries. That is US, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Japan. And what is objective? Objective is to help the countries in Pacific region, so that their economic status can be enhanced. So helping the Pacific nation countries, right? To boost diplomatic and economic ties with the Pacific countries. Fine. Okay. Yes. As of now, guys, is everything clear or not? Please ask if you have any doubt till this. First theme we have done. Important international organizations that were in news. Just do one thing. Take 2-3 minutes of time. Go through all this and please ask if you have any doubt. Take 2-3 minutes of time. Please go through this and ask if you have any doubt. Yes, guys, any doubt, any question, if you have, please ask. Just do tell me this thing that you revise, right? You go through these topics when I give you sign. I hope that you're going through them, right? Okay, fine. Moving on, and now in bilateral relations, some important countries that were in news vis-a-vis India's relations with them. We are going to see them again, guys. Even now, see, first of all, when we talk about bilateral relations, to be very frank, much questions on this dimension is not asked. But in order to address this FOMO that is often there, FOMO, fear of missing out, that okay, I have to do it because every magazine gives that. But when we talk about bilateral relations specifically, the things are not there. Some declaration is signed, etc. Then that is a different thing. So, with respect to India, Pakistan, there was this issue on Indus Water Treaty. Indus Water Treaty. Now, basically, guys, what happened on Indus Water Treaty? There were certain developments happened. Number one, when we talk about Indus Water Treaty, India recently said that we are looking forward to revise the Indus Water Treaty. We are looking forward to revise Indus Water Treaty. Why India is looking forward to revise Indus Water Treaty is because of Pakistan, which is not following the due process under Indus Water Treaty. Let's understand this particular thing. First of all, when we talk about Indus Water Treaty, it was negotiated way back in 1960, brokered by World Bank. Fine. Now, under this Indus Water Treaty, three eastern rivers, that was Ravi, Byas, and Satluj, they were given to India. And western rivers, that is Indus, Jhelum, and Chenab, they were given to Pakistan. In terms of volume of water, 80% of water is contained in these rivers. It was given to Pakistan. But under this Indus Water Treaty, there is a provision that India can develop run over the river projects. India can develop the run over the river projects, ROR projects. What are these projects? These projects are the ones which don't divert water. These projects are the ones which don't divert water, they don't store water. Fine. Now, what has happened in the past? In the past, India has developed certain projects. Fine. For example, there is Salal Dam, Salal project. Fine. Baglihar is there. No, they are on Chenab River. So Salal Dam, Baglihar Dam, both on Chenab River, they have been developed by India. Pakistan has an objection with them. Pakistan has an objection with respect to them. Then even when we talk about the Kishan Ganga River, Kishan Ganga, we have developed one more dam, Kishan Ganga Dam. Pakistan has problem with that also. Now you see this particular thing that under the Indus Water Treaty, there is a process that is to be followed if in case there is a dispute. And this process is like this, that both the countries will appoint permanent Indus commissioners. If any dispute, it will be discussed at the level of permanent Indus commissioners. Pakistan and India will appoint permanent Indus commissioner. First layer dispute will be resolved there. If if here the dispute is not resolved, then it will go to a World Bank appointed expert, neutral expert. If then here also it is not resolved, then it will go to the permanent court of arbitration. So in permanent court of arbitration, a matter can be taken up. This is a process which is clearly defined in the Article 9, sorry, of Indus Water Treaty. But Pakistan, what it does, rather than following this process, it directly goes to the permanent court of arbitration. India says that this is not the process, and therefore India recently rejected also a ruling by the permanent court of arbitration. Okay. Now, India said that this is not a process, but the court says that India's objection, that it was competent to consider matters under the Kishan Ganga and Ratle hydroelectric projects. Fine. Now, where they have constructed, they are constructed in the Jhelum basin. Okay. Now, India's disputes that we have here, guys, you know this particular thing that in J&K sector, if we have a dispute, then one major dispute that we have here is in Sar Creek. Sar Creek. Okay, this particular region, Sar Creek region. And here there is one location that was in news. Okay, please note it down here in the side. Harami Nala. Harami Nala is one of our location where India-Pakistan dispute is there in Sar Creek. Here, Sar Creek, Gujarat. The next is India-UAE relation. India-UAE relations. India-UAE relations. So, what happened recently? Recently, India-UAE CEPA, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement that was signed, it completed 1 year. It completed 1 year. So basically, what does the CEPA stands for? CEPA stands for Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. CEPA stands for Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. No, basically, guys, when we talk about the CEPA, CEPA is simply a type of a free trade agreement. It is a type of a free trade agreement. Now, what is a free trade agreement? So, free trade agreement is an agreement that is signed between two countries under which they will dilute the tariffs and trade and non-trade barriers that are there. Tariff and non-tariff barriers, sorry, that are there. Trade-related tariff and non-tariff barriers will be diluted by the free trade agreement. Now, these free trade agreement are called by many names. They are called by the CEPA, they are called by SECA. Now, when we talk about the CEPA that India has signed with the UAE, this particular CEPA, fine, it is quite broad than the traditional free trade agreement. Why? Because traditional free trade agreement pertains to largely goods and services. Now it covers goods, services, it covers investment, intellectual property rights, government procurement that is done by India from UAE, or UAE from India, dispute resolution. Because of its wider scope, because of its wider scope, because fine. So it's wider in scope. Now, when we talk about the India UAE CEPA, so basically what has happened to ensure effective working of this, to ensure effective working of this India UAE CEPA, India UAE CEPA Council has also been inaugurated. India UAE CEPA Council has also been inaugurated. And we have also signed agreements with the Japan and South Korea. Fine, on this particular front. Now, there are some other initiatives also which India has signed with the has signed with the UAE, that is local currency settlement system. Local currency settlement system. Now, this local currency settlement system, it is a kind of an attempt towards a de-dollarization. Towards de-dollarization. Now, what is this de-dollarization? So, around the world, countries, what they are doing, what they are trying to do, they are trying to reduce the hegemony of US dollar. They are trying to reduce the hegemony of US dollar. Now, you know this thing that already US is used as a currency in international trade and commerce. Now the countries want that they should use their own currency. And in this respect, India has already signed an agreement with Russia, that is rupee ruble arrangement. Rupee ruble arrangement in which Russia and India will trade in their domestic currencies. So for example, India is buying oil, India will pay in rupee, and Russia will use that rupee when Russia will buy something from India. So local currency settlement system where India and UAE will be using their respective currencies for the payment settlement. Then also India's UPI has been linked with the UAE's instant payment platform so that effective money transfer can happen. And RuPay domestic cards fine have now have been made operational in UAE. Also, an agreement has been signed to establish an IIT Delhi campus in Abu Dhabi. Now it will be a second IIT campus. One we have already established in Tanzania. Now after Tanzania, this will be a second campus of IIT Delhi, which will be launched in Abu Dhabi. Now, when we talk about UAE, some important aspects with respect to UAE. UAE is India's third largest trading partner. UAE is India's third largest trading partner and second largest export destination. Fine. Now you know already that a large number of people of Indian origin they live here. So a very thriving and vibrant diaspora community also India maintains in UAE. Now, some important facts is that Desert Eagle is an important exercise that is signed. I2U2 is one where India and UAE is participating. I2U2 stands for I2U2. That is India, Israel, and U stands for US, UAE. So, four countries. I2 means two countries with I, U2 means two countries with U. India, Israel, US, UAE. These four countries have come together under this I2U2. Okay, space cooperation. So also Naif 1 satellite has been launched. ISRO launched this UAE's satellite Naif 1. Now guys, here I have also provided you mapping also here. So when we talk about India UAE, first of all, Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer cuts through UAE. Tropic of Cancer cuts through UAE. Now guys, here we have Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz. Now, when we talk about the land boundary that UAE makes, so it makes land boundary with Saudi Arabia and Oman. Saudi Arabia and Oman. Strait of Hormuz, Persian Gulf. Okay. Strait of Hormuz, Persian Gulf. Also, you know this particular thing that India, Middle East economic, India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor is there. There also UAE is getting connected. Now, one important geographical aspect is this Rub Khali Desert. Rub Khali Desert. So Rub Khali Desert is wide, expansive desert in this particular region, which is spread across multiple countries: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Rub Khali Desert. So huge desert expanse that you see in UAE. This is Rub Khali Desert. So often desert is known by its sand dunes that are there. So these sand dunes, okay, and the desert. What the desert? Rub Khali Desert. Fine. Moving on. So recently, Prime Minister of India made a official state visit to US. So therefore, India US also is important. Now, guys, when we talk about India and US relation, so there is one saying that is said that in the context of India US relation, that relation has moved from estranged democracy to engaged democracy. Estranged democracy to engaged democracy. Now, estranged democracy. So you know already this particular thing that India US equation was not that cordial. India US equation was not that cordial, not that good during the Cold War era. Why? Because India was seen as that though India always followed the non alignment stand, but often it was seen that India is more inclined towards the USSR because of its Soviet underpinnings. Because of its Soviet underpinnings, it was seen that India is more inclined towards the USSR. Also, when India carried their nuclear test, that time also US shown a lot of reservation against India. But now relations are cordial. So as this visit was done, what are the key outcomes of this particular visit? So number one is India-US quantum coordination mechanism. India-US quantum coordination mechanism. Now, what is quantum coordination mechanism? On quantum technology, quantum communication, quantum encryption to enhance coordination of India. This India-US quantum coordination committee was established. Coordination mechanism was established. Next is innovation handshake initiative. Innovation handshake initiative. Now, under this innovation handshake initiative, academia, startups from India and US will come together and they co-develop critical technologies. Now, this is fine, part of US India Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies, ICET. ICET. Now, what is ICET? So basically, guys, ICET is a platform where innovative, innovative cooperation and coordination will be done. Artificial intelligence, machine to machine communication, drone technology, semiconductor technology. These are the emerging technologies. In these emerging technologies, cooperation between India and US will be done. Startups, academia, all will come together. This is ICET, US India Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology. Now, this initiative was started in 2023, and under this innovation handshake initiative is there to support the startups. To support the startups. Then there is a clean energy partnership. Clean energy partnership. So under this clean energy partnership, India will get assistance. Technological assistance will be provided by US to India so that India can develop renewable technologies, renewable energies. So for deploying renewable energies and renewable technologies, support will be given to India. Then on critical minerals, mineral security partnership has been started. Mineral security partnership has been started. Now already when we were discussing economy, we have discussed all the critical minerals, and there, if you remember, I just gave you a reference also of this critical mineral security partnership. Now here you have the statistics. So US is an important export hub for Indian goods. So US is India's third largest defense supplier. Now, who are the largest defense suppliers for India? So largest we have is Russia. And after Russia, we have France. So Rafale jet deal that happened. Then Scorpion submarines that we are procuring with the assistance of French naval group. So France becomes the second one and US becomes the third one. So Russia, France and US. So important military exercises are Yudh Abhyas, Vajra Prahar, Malabar, Rimpak. Okay. Then there is also friend shoring, in which India is an important ally of US. Now, what is this friend shoring? So basically, this friend shoring initiative is started by US. Now, what friend shoring means? Friend shoring means that US is going to give more preference to those countries which are ideologically aligned with US, who are friends of US. Who are friends of US? Who have good cooperation with US and who are ideologically, value-wise also aligned with the US. Value-wise also aligned with the US. So friend shoring is done. Right? Now, also some other initiatives is there. There is Indus X. Indus X. Indus X. So what is this Indus X? It is a joint cooperation again between India and US. In US, Indus. Where they will work on strategic technologies. Strategic technologies. Find drone technology and such strategic technologies they'll be developing. Then also India and US are cooperating under Artemis Accord. Fine. Now under Artemis Accord, so outer space, moon, Mars will be explored. We'll discuss more about the Artemis Accord when we'll be doing the science and technology. And in science and technology, when we'll do the space sector, we'll discuss more about the Artemis Accord. So here also, both countries are cooperating. Fine. Now, when we talk about the, sir, can you repeat friend shoring? What is friend shoring? So concept of friend shoring was given by US. Janet Yellen of US give the concept of friend shoring. Friend shoring means that US says that we are going to give a preference to our friends. If we want to do trade, we'll do with our friends. In terms of supply chain, fine, we'll prefer our friend. Now, friends means those countries are ideologically aligned with the US. Now, in this friend shoring, US and India are aligned. Why? Because of, you see, what are the important values for US? Liberalism, democracy, etc. And these are the same values which are important for India also. So ideologically, India and US are allies, they are friend. So in the friend shoring of US, India is the top country. Now, guys, here, here. Okay. If you focus, if you see here, here we have the Great Lakes region. Just a minute. Yes. So basically, here, if you focus, here we have the map of US. Now, some important locations that you need to see here. Some important locations that you need to see here. Okay. So first, we have Rocky Mountains here. We have Rocky Mountains here. Rocky Mountains. Fine. On the east coast of US, we have Atlantic Ocean, and here we have Pacific Ocean. Here we have Pacific Ocean. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute, guys. Fine. So yes, we have Rocky Mountains, we have Pacific, we have Atlantic Ocean. Here we have Gulf of Mexico. Here we have Gulf of Mexico. Here we have Great Lakes. Here we have Great Lakes. Now just please note down what these Great Lakes are. So this one is Lake Superior. Lake Superior. Then after that, here we have Lake Michigan. Okay, so Superior. Then we have Michigan. Then here we have Lake Huron. Fine. So we have Lake Superior, we have Lake Michigan, then we have Lake Huron, then we have Lake. Fine. So now here you have two. Here you have two. So basically, north you have Ontario. In north you have Ontario, and in the south you have Erie, Lake Erie. So these are the Great Lakes of US. So again, we'll see. This one is Superior. This one here is Michigan. This one here is Huron. Then here we have two. Fine. The north is Ontario and the south is Erie. Erie. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? Further here, we have Great Plains. Fine. And here you have Appalachian Mountains. Appalachian Mountains. Okay. Moving on. So India, Maldives, India, Maldives. So basically, in the context of India, Maldives, there was this thing. Actually, what happened, you know, this thing that recently presidential elections happened in Maldives, and Mr. Muizu, who has become new president of Maldives, he is earlier he was the promoter of India Out campaign, and now also his policies are such that he is giving more preference to China and is having a negative attitude towards the India. He ordered that Indian troops, which are there in Maldives, now Indian troops have been in Maldives because they help Maldives to operate the helicopter that was given by India and Dornier aircraft that Maldives have to help them operate. Indian troops have been there. So Maldives, the new president has asked Indian troops to leave the Maldives, and India Out campaign was started. India Out campaign was started. So he is the one who has uh, been the supporter of India Out campaign. Now, when we talk about India, India is the third largest trade partner of Maldives. Okay. 70% of Maldives' defense needs are fulfilled by India. Okay. Now, when we talk about India established healthcare facilities, educational institutions, also provide the developmental grants. And when we talk about the developmental grants, the most important developmental grant that has been given by India is for the Greater Male Connectivity Project. Greater Male Connectivity Project. Fine. Okay. Also in SARC, SASEC, Indian Ocean Dream Association, and UN, they cooperate. Fine. So important atolls here have been given. So just you please can go through this. Okay. Fine. Yes, guys. Any doubt? Any question here? If you have, you may please ask. Then India Nepal. So basically, when we talk about India Nepal, so in Kala Pani dispute, which is a disputed territory between India and Nepal, we have dispute. India, couple of years back, came out with a new map where they show Kala Pani, Limpiadhura, where Kala Pani particularly was shown as a part of their territory. So we have a dispute. So Uttarakhand, certain territories are claimed by Nepal illegally. Fine. So recently, what happened? India, Nepal, they signed agreement on export of power. Recently, Nepal India Joint Commission. Recently, seventh India Nepal Joint Commission meet happened, and here a power export agreement was signed. Power export agreement was signed. Now, what are the key takeaways from this particular agreement? Is that number one, 10,000 megawatts of power export will be done over the next 10 years. Fine. Transmission lines will be inaugurated between India and Nepal. Fine. So Raxol, Parvanipur, no, Raxol is in India. Then Kushaha, Katia, and New Notanwa, Manaya. These are the transmission lines that have been inaugurated. Then also on renewable energy, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between who? Nepal Electricity Authority and NTPC. After that, the one important is that the satellite service agreement is also signed. So basically, service agreement for the Munal satellite has been there. Now this satellite is developed by the students of Nepal. Now this satellite will be launched on the Indian rocket. By India, ISRO is going to launch it. Okay. Now when we talk about India Nepal, so relations between India and Nepal is called as Roti Beti Ka Rishta. Roti Beti Ka Rishta. Why Roti Beti? Roti, a large number of people from Nepal, they come to India for livelihood opportunities, and large number of matrimonial ties are there between India and Nepal. So therefore, it is called as Roti Beti Ka Rishta. And we find this particular thing that Nepal also shares border with Sikkim, West Bengal, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. And because of that, there are matrimonial ties. Then foundation of India-Nepal relation is based on the India-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1950. Now, on this particular treaty, there is one issue also, guys, here because Nepal multiple number of times has raised that they want to revise this particular 1950 Friendship Treaty. Then, when we talk about the economic cooperation, India is Nepal's largest trade partner, largest source of foreign investment, and also you know this thing that the Nepal does not have direct access to sea, so India is crucial to provide the sea connectivity to Nepal. Fine. Then also there is important treaty of transit, treaty of trade that have been there. Then also India is helping Nepal for the modernization of their army. Surya Kiran is an important exercise. Fine. Then on culture, the component where both the countries converge is Buddhism. Buddhism. Fine. Also, so Buddhism. And then on water sharing, Kosi Agreement, Gandak Agreement, Mahakali Treaty are the ones which majorly guide the agreement on the cross-country rivers. Cross-country rivers. Fine. And then connectivity. So Terai area, we are developing the cross-border roads. Integrated checkpoints are there, which are there at Birgunj, Biratnagar, Bhairawa, Nepalganj. Okay. Now, this is all about it. Fine. Just please go through that, and in next class we'll briefly read, uh, uh, take a revision, and we'll go with the further topics. Okay. Fine. Yes, guys. Any issue? Any doubt? Any issue? Any doubt? Okay, fine. So next class we are going to take it. Thank you, everyone.